In the winter of 1959, when the Ural Mountains were covered in a thick layer of snow, as if they were sleeping in a white shroud, a group of 9 students from the Ural Technical Institute set out on an expedition to a remote mountain pass later known as the Dyatlov Pass. Named after their young leader, Igor Dyatlov, who had a confident smile and eyes that sparkled with adventure. The beginning there were 9 of them, young men and women in their 20s, athletes and lovers of nature. They carried their skis, tents, and cameras to document the journey. They laughed in the pictures, wrote in their diaries, and sang on cold nights around a small fire. They set out from the town of Vigai toward the Kolotsokol Mountains, which the local Monsey people call Mountain of Death. They paid no heed to the warnings. They were children of science and the times, unafraid of an ancient legend. Snow and silence on February 1st, the storm intensified. The winds were so fierce they seemed to roar an unspeakable name. The team mistook the route for the trek up the slope of Mount Kolotsokol instead of the intended trail. They decided to pitch their tent on an exposed slope to avoid returning to the forest. Dyatlov wrote in his notebook, "We will spend the night here, despite the wind." It was the last sentence anyone wrote. The last night no one knows exactly what happened. When the tent was found weeks later, it had been torn open with a knife, as if terror had opened it. Bare footprints stretched into the snow for a kilometer into the forest. The first 2 bodies were found under a burning tree, barefoot, as if they had lit a fire with their last breath. Then, meters away, 3 more fell on the way back to the tent, as if they had tried to turn back too late. The remaining 4 were found 2 months later, buried under the snow. Some had strange fractures to their chests and skulls, with no external signs of wounds. One of the girls was tongueless. Interpretations and the secret. The Soviet investigation closed the case with the cryptic phrase, "a mysterious, insurmountable natural force." But questions continued to haunt everyone who heard the story. Was it an avalanche? A secret military experiment? An encounter with an unknown being? Or perhaps, as some Monsey say, the mountain woke up that night and demanded their lives as a reward for their daring? Echoes of the past decades have passed, and the Dyatlov Pass still holds its secrets. At the entrance to the mountain, a simple wooden cross bears the names of the 9. And when the winds pass over the snow on clear nights, shepherds say they hear the echo of intermittent footsteps and distant laughter, as if the spirits are still continuing their unfinished journey.